Hello and welcome to the General's Reviews. I'm Chris McLeod, aka Diagnosticator from the Full Force podcast, and I'm joining Justin Bell from What's on Joe Mind and General's Joe's to bring you this review of the Vitruvian HACKS Ultimate Spartan from Boss Fight Studio. We've already looked a little at the history of the Spartan, so instead let's look at the figure in more detail to see what separates him from the regular Spartans. The base bodies are exactly the same with different head sculpts and a slightly different paint scheme. Let's look at the heads first. The Ultimate Spartan gets the Leonidas head that we will be getting with the all-in package very soon. The beard is bigger and the hair colour is darker than the original Spartan, which helps to add some more options for army building. If you're looking to build a 300 strong force though, you may need a lot more diversity in the head sculpts, so you better get painting those blanks. The paint scheme on this figure is very cool indeed. As you would expect a battle-hardened warrior to look during a fight, the Ultimate Spartan and his accessories are covered in a subtle blood spatter and a darker dirt texture, which makes him look incredible and very realistic. He comes with more accessories than he can carry. He has everything the original Spartan has and more. 5 swords, 4 helmets, 2 shields, 2 axes, a spear, a sheath, body armour and skirt, a figure stand and a set of spare hands. He'll need the spare hands to carry it all. Justin is looking in more depth at the New Jersey Collectors Con exclusive today, so without further ado, here is Justin with the review.
This is Justin from GeneralsJoes.com with yet another General's Joe and Tell. We've got a great item to take a look at today for the Vitruvian HACKS toy line. It is the Ultimate Spartan. He was a New Jersey Collectors Con, exclusive figure that was first revealed about a month ago. He was available at the New Jersey Collectors Con itself if you attended in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. He was also available via an eBay store shortly thereafter and has been available off and on ever since. I will try to put a link to the eBay listing in the description below if he is still available. He comes with so much stuff that I can barely fit him in the frame here. But you can kind of see all of his different accessories scattered along with him. We can also take a look at the box, like I did with the Amazon. He's got some pretty cool, very dramatic package art on the front there that I think looks pretty awesome. Well suited for the Ultimate Spartan. He has got all sorts of text there, which I am not going to read to you because nobody wants to sit here and just watch me read things. But the package is very neat. Boss Fight Studios goes with a pretty generic white box packaging for their exclusives, but they add some nice artwork and text to the back that kind of makes it snap. But anyway, as you can see, this is the Ultimate Spartan, not just your normal Spartan, but an Ultimate Spartan. At his base, he is essentially the same as the regular Spartan. He's got from the neck down, same exact parts, same chest armor with the decorative war skirt, whatever you call that thing. He's got the same leg, shin guards, different head sculpt. He's actually, the Ultimate Spartan, I believe, has a head sculpt that is going to come with Leonidas eventually, once Leonidas gets shipped, which I am on pins and needles because rumor is coming out there that the second batch of Kickstarter product is actually shipping now. So hopefully I will have Leonidas himself in my grubby little mitts shortly, which will be great. I'm getting the cold sweats just thinking about doing reviews for all of those figures. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to shake that out, but I guess time will tell. But anyway, the similarities pretty much end at the base body because from there on, it's pretty much the Spartan on steroids here. You've got all sorts of different weapons that this figure comes with. I've got them all laid out to you here. He's got his one helmet with a red crest and a little bit of a decorative stuff kind of along the bottom of the helmet. He's got this even more decorative helmet with kind of the frilly crest on top. He's got a more standard bronze helmet with the crest without the little diagonal decorative stuff. Then he's got a bronze helmet without the crest. I think it's the same type of helmet you might have seen with a regular Spartan. I like this one the most. It kind of adds the most flair, but doesn't go overboard. That's kind of my thought on him. He's got 2 different shields. This shield that comes with most of the Gorgons, only in the stone deco. He's got this larger Spartan logo shield that comes with the regular Spartan. He's got this spear right here. And he's got, more swords than you can choke somebody with. He's got this sword here, which I covered up with the spear because he's got so many weapons I can't even put them all. But he's got, as you can see, he's got 1 sword, 2 swords, 3 swords. Oh, but that's not all. He's got a 4th sword that fits in his sheath. And if you count a sword being this thing, he's got this sword as well. So he comes with 5 swords, 2 axes, the sheath, the 2 shields, the spear, the 4 helmets, essentially enough gear to equip an army, which is kind of cool, and it helps the army building because you can deck out your Spartans in all sorts of different combinations to make them look pretty different, even though at their base they're kind of the same figure. I actually bought 2 Ultimate Spartans, and I kind of use them to balance off of each other. Hold on just a sec. Boom. Here's my other Ultimate Spartan. And you can kind of see, you know, like I said, the same figure, but with some slight, you know, equipment differences. They can look relatively different. This guy's crested helmet doesn't have the little diagonal decorative stuff. He's got 2 swords instead of the axe. His sheath is positioned a little bit differently. So with just some minor differences, he looks like a completely different Spartan. It's really cool. I mean, these are built for customizing. It's amazing to me they can balance the design and aesthetic of a great figure, yet still make it fully customizable. That's the amazing thing. And of course, what really separates the Ultimate Spartan from the normal Spartan, as you can see, is the deco work. He is completely caked with dirt, mud, blood, whatever you want to say it is, but you can see the spatter all up and down his arms, all up and down his legs, all throughout his armor. And I should really look up and see what this thing is called, because I keep calling it a skirt, and I don't want to call it a skirt because I'm afraid this guy's going to come to life and stab me with this weird, crazy curved sword here if I keep telling him he's wearing a skirt. Very, you know, spatter all through here, all through his back, all through his little shin guards, his helmet. This crap is everywhere. I mean, it looks like he just basically dove in a mud puddle and then mud wrestled. This isn't the Ultimate Spartan. This is mud wrestling Spartan. Yeah, that brought all sorts of wrong things to mind. As you can see, there's his head sculpt, a little bit different than the regular Spartan. He's got kind of the long, bushy / pointy beard. Like I said, I believe it's the head that comes with Leonidas that should be arriving shortly. I may be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. The figure itself is just spectacular. I've reviewed a few of these already, so I don't feel like I need to go into crazy detail about just what the range of motion is like. But it's fantastic. I mean, his elbows bend crazy good. He's got the double joint knees that allow his knees to bend really well. Unlike the Amazon, which I just finished doing a review of, the male figures do not appear to have the rocker ankles. I'm not sure what made Boss Fight Studio give those to the females and not the males, but they did. I would think the rocker ankles would work pretty well on the male figure, but maybe there was just a design decision they made after the male had been sculpted. I don't know. But even as you take weapons off, it's still an amazing looking figure. I love this sheath. I love that even the sheath, like the sheath itself on the strap, has a little peg joint so you can spin it around however you want. So if you want the if you want the sheath to go on his other shoulder, it's not difficult to do. If you want it to go around his back, it's not difficult to do. I mean, obviously, if you put it over on this side, the buckle's going to be on his back, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it is possible. The sheath also has a slot at the end, so if you want to try to put longer swords in there, I think you can. Maybe specifically this really long one. Yep, and you see it does stick out a little bit, but it still fits in there pretty well. The sheath is mostly hindered by width, not by length, you know, aren't we all? But so I'm sorry, that was terrible. These wide swords, well, actually it fits in there pretty well. This one, yeah, that fits. The sheath is making me a liar. I was about to say it doesn't work for all swords, but that is apparently a filthy, disgusting lie, because it does work with all the swords. I'm not even going to try that crazy Gurkha thing, because I can tell you that's not going to fit. And I don't want to tear this. This figure was $35 with shipping. I'm not going to tear it up just for the sake of you people. But you can pose the sheath around like that, which is good. You can give him his crazy ceremonial helmet. I'm not wild about this helmet. I mean, maybe I need to do a little bit of research on Spartan history and kind of see what the significance of this helmet is. I just don't understand. I mean, it looks more ceremonial. It looks like maybe this is a Spartan officer. I might be talking out of my ass. I probably am, but that's kind of the gist I get from looking at it. Then, of course, you've got other minor variations. You've got this other helmet without the little angular pattern there. You've got just the plain flat old bronze helmet for those poor Spartans who basically don't get any colorful crests or feathers. These guys are the guys that are just at the front of the pack and just basically told to run forward into the sharp ends of the spears. Speaking of spears, we've got this spear here. And as you can see, I mean, as I'm kind of showing this figure to you guys, I'm posing him pretty easily. Joints are tight, you know, everything kind of fits really well. You know, and of course, you know, I'm going over a lot of the same material I probably went on with previous videos. It's like the material of the skirt at the bottom. I called it a skirt again. I'm sorry, don't stab me with that thing. It's soft enough so that it moves with the shape of the legs, which is nice. It doesn't hinder articulation too much. This is where, you know, having those rocker ankles would be really great, but it's really easy to get them all sorts of different positions, holding all these crazy weapons. You know, I knew nothing about Greek mythology or the Spartans other than watching Zack Snyder's movies until I got into until I got into the Vitruvian HACKS stuff, and I'm slowly kind of learning more information about them by osmosis. It's been really fun. You know, it's very comic book-esque. It's pretty amazing if you think about it and look back. I mean, Greek mythology, to the folks who lived in that period of time, that was the Marvel Cinematic Universe to them, really. It was the idea of these gods and superpowered beings that, you know, ruled the universe and had this ongoing story that linked them all together. I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at here. It's another way of looking at you know, what we see with in the movie theaters with, you know, Captain America: Civil War coming out this weekend. Kind of an interesting tie-in and how that all works together. But anyway, the Ultimate Spartan is a fantastic figure, as the rest of the Vitruvian HACKS line has all been so far. I love the deco work and the mud and blood and paint spatter across his armor and his flesh. He's got so many different accessories, it's almost impossible to not find something that you love. The sheath, the shields, the spear, the swords, the helmets. It would have been nice if they maybe gave him a couple extra heads, or maybe one extra head. Just from my perspective, once I get Leonidas, it's going to be kind of tricky to make this guy be anybody but Leonidas, because that's a pretty distinctive head sculpt. So maybe just, you know, some hairless heads would have been cool, just to make more generic Spartan soldiers that blended a little bit better with some of the other troops. I know obviously we're getting tons of heads in all the blanks. I'm not wild on painting eyes and painting hair and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm sure somewhere along the line we might get a couple extra heads that might work for some of our other Spartans, but that's about the only thing I could think of that would have been an improvement here. But anyway, that is a look at the Ultimate Spartan, and you don't always realize just how different he is from the regular Spartan just by looking at him. As I step away and grab my regular Spartan, who I've been using kind of as a Spartan officer, because it makes sense to me that the officers would be a little bit cleaner than the foot soldiers. So you can really tell once you stand them side by side. You know, the flesh is a little bit of a different color, a little bit lighter. These Ultimate Spartans are really kind of down and dirty and spattered and grimy and all sorts of, they've seen all sorts of action where the Spartan officers kind of sat back and said, go do my bidding. But anyway, that's a look at the New Jersey Collectors Con Ultimate Spartan exclusive figure. It was only available at New Jersey Collectors Convention and on their own eBay store in the weeks following. Like I said, I'll put a link down in the description just in case it's still available. I'm not sure if it is. It's another thing that's been selling very, very quickly. So hopefully you can get in on the ground floor on that as well. But thank you very much for watching. This is another General's Joe Intel. If you liked what you saw, please like the video. Please subscribe. If you didn't like it, please leave me a comment and let me know what you didn't like so I know what to fix going forward. But this is a look at the Ultimate Spartan. Once again, thanks to Chris McLeod from the Full Force Podcast for helping me put these things together. And be sure to keep your eyes on bossfightshop.com because more of this type of stuff will be coming available very shortly, I suspect. And I think it's going to sell pretty quick. So if you're at all interested in what you're seeing here, bookmark bossfightshop.com and keep visiting because that's going to be a pretty hot spot for toy collectors coming very soon. Thank you again for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video.
Thanks for watching this review by Justin Bell of generalsjoes.com and What's on Joe Mind, and from myself, Chris McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80 from the Full Force. If you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and let us know what you think on any of our numerous social networking platforms. Goodbye and see you next time for another General's Review.